Silence and Mental Health Reflections from Nobel Prize winner Kang's The White Book. Have you ever felt like the weight of silence was heavier than any words you could say? In moments of deep emotional struggle, silence can feel like the heaviest burden. Today we're diving into the work of Nobel Prize-winning author Kang, whose profound insights on the human condition shine through in her novel, The White Book. This remarkable book beautifully captures the intersection of silence, grief, and mental health. Through this literary lens, we'll explore how the struggles of unspoken emotions can mirror real-life mental health challenges. Kang's fragmented style of storytelling reflects the fractured emotions we often face when dealing with grief and trauma. By the end of this video, we'll see how silence can be both a source of strength and a prison, and how breaking that silence can be the key to healing. Section 1: The Role of Silence in Mental Health. Silence is a tricky thing. It can be comforting, like sitting in peace after a long, chaotic day. But it can also be incredibly isolating, especially when it comes to our mental health. In The White Book, silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's a powerful metaphor for grief, for the things left unsaid. Kang shows us how silence often takes over when emotions are too heavy to express. It's in those quiet moments when the mind is screaming for release, but no words come. This silence can be suffocating, especially for those struggling with mental health. Instead of talking about our feelings, we bottle them up. Society often tells us to be strong, to push through pain without complaint, which only makes it harder to break that silence. And the longer we stay quiet, the more isolated we feel. Anxiety, depression, they thrive in silence. We don't talk about them because we're afraid of being judged or misunderstood. And that silence can turn into a prison, one we don't know how to escape from. Kang's novel shows us just how deep and isolating that silence can be, and why it's so important to find a way out. Section 2: Grief and Emotional Struggles.
Grief isn't just sadness. It's a complex, heavy mixture of emotions: anger, confusion, guilt, and sometimes numbness. In The White Book, Kang explores this complexity, showing how grief can paralyze you, leaving you unable to express what you're feeling. The narrator in the story doesn't just mourn the loss of a loved one, she mourns the loss of connection, the inability to communicate her pain.
This mirrors the way many of us experience grief in real life. We're told to stay strong, to keep going, even when our world feels like it's falling apart. Especially in cultures that value stoicism, there's an unspoken expectation to deal with your pain in silence. But this unexpressed grief doesn't disappear, it sits there, simmering beneath the surface, affecting our mental health in ways we don't always understand. Without an outlet, without a way to talk about it, grief can become something darker, leading to depression, anxiety, or a sense of emotional numbness. Kang's portrayal of grief reminds us that it's okay to not be okay, and that sometimes the hardest part of healing is breaking through that wall of silence. Section 3: Fragmented Narrative as a Reflection of Mental Health. One of the most striking things about The White Book is its fragmented structure. The novel is written in short, poetic sections, almost like glimpses into the narrator's mind. This style mirrors the way mental health struggles often feel scattered, disjointed, hard to piece together. When we're overwhelmed with grief or anxiety, our thoughts can feel fragmented, like we're struggling to make sense of what's happening inside our own heads. Kang's fragmented storytelling reflects this beautifully. Each section feels like a puzzle piece, but none of them seem to fit together perfectly. It's a reflection of the narrator's internal state, her emotional disconnection. And it's a feeling that many people with mental health challenges can relate to. When your mind feels broken or scattered, it's hard to find the words to explain what you're going through. You might not even understand it yourself. This fragmented style reminds us that mental health struggles are rarely neat or easy to explain. They're messy, disorganized, and often hard to express, much like the narrative in The White Book. Section 4: The Impact of Unexpressed Emotions on Mental Health. Suppressing emotions might seem like an easy way to avoid pain, but it comes with a cost. In The White Book, we see how the narrator's inability to express her grief leaves her feeling disconnected from herself, from others, and from the world around her. This disconnection is a powerful metaphor for how unexpressed emotions can damage our mental health. In real life, when we don't talk about our emotions, they don't just disappear. They build up inside us, slowly eating away at our sense of well-being. Suppressed emotions can lead to a whole range of mental health issues: depression, anxiety, even physical symptoms like fatigue or headaches. And the more we push these feelings down, the more disconnected we become. We start to feel like we're carrying a weight that no one else can see, but it's dragging us down all the same. Kang's novel reminds us that silence isn't always golden. Sometimes it's the thing that keeps us trapped in our pain. Section 5: The importance of expression for healing. But there's hope in the White Book. Even in the midst of silence and grief, there are small moments of expression: writing, art, and reflection that offer a way forward. These moments aren't big, grand gestures, they're quiet, personal steps toward healing. And that's the lesson we can take from this novel: expression, in whatever form it takes, is a key to breaking through the silence. Whether it's talking to someone, writing in a journal, or finding creative ways to let your emotions out, expression is vital for mental health. It helps us process our feelings, make sense of our pain, and begin to heal. In the White Book, the narrator's journey is far from easy, but those small acts of expression are the first steps toward finding peace. And the same is true for us. Silence may feel safe, but it's expression that sets us free. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this, it's that mental health isn't something to be dealt with in silence. Whether you're grieving, struggling with anxiety, or feeling lost, know that you don't have to go through it alone. Speaking up, expressing yourself, and finding an outlet for your emotions is the first step toward healing. If you've ever felt the weight of silence, share your thoughts in the comments. Let's break the silence together. And if this resonates with you, make sure to subscribe for more discussions on mental health, literature, and the powerful lessons we can learn from stories like the White Book.